I can record them and send the recording.
One of the issues is having a recording of that length, that amount then becomes so huge to deal with. And I've been uploading them to our channel in 2 sections, which is much more manageable, I think, than having something that goes for a couple of hours. I just think it's easier to handle.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But thank you. I mean, Elizabeth also has offered. She has an account also, and Carol has an account. So
I have to clear it though. It's the NCWCA account, and lots of people use it. So I just have to make sure. And they only let one of us use it at a time. So
I don't know. I think it's a good opportunity to grab something to drink. Anyway, now we're back. And Rebecca, would you like to start with talking about your activities and what you're up to?
Sure. Mainly this year, really, my main project, along with all the other stuff, has been clearing out the house of a dear friend of mine who passed away in summer. Lulu Ezekiel. I don't know if any of you know her, but she was a painter and a ceramicist. And I'll just share it. It was kind of an amazing opportunity to be close to her work and to marvel at her process and to sort of bear witness to her whole expression. But also constantly I kept thinking, okay, I've got to organize my stuff. I've got to clear out some of my artwork so that my nieces and nephew don't have to go through what we went through. It took us a few months, and there were hundreds of paintings, and it was all disorganized, thousands of drawings. So it was motivating to really look at my own world. And so I've been clearing out my studio, and I feel like I have to just keep making passes through and just keep working on organizing this stuff. So it isn't such a big project for the next generation.
Yeah.
That's my share.
I also think, it's a lot easier to do when you're in relatively good health and you are able physically to face it bit by bit. It makes a huge difference, and it doesn't have the same emotional toll, I think, for those who are so close to you, and be easier to do that. And to have them come in with you from time to time and see what you're handling and where you're putting it and how you're organizing it. So whether it's a family member or a friend, just somebody else, it lightens the burden of it. It really does. It diffuses a lot of the emotions that we get into when we're confronting our mortality this way, and the concern over a lifetime of work and its fate.
Yes.
Kim, you're on the adjacent tile for me.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I have finally put to bed a project that I've been working on for almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. And this is a book. I have the cover for to show. I don't have the book, but there's my cover.
Oh, wow.
Or to see.
Congratulations.
Looks
Thank
like
you. Can you see
coffee
it?
table size.
Yeah. Pardon me. So I'm
size.
it's 11 by 10 and a half. It's
very
big.
nice.
It's big. I was surprised how big it was. So this was something that I had promised myself to do when I turned 75. And I'm now beyond 75. And so I really wanted to do it. And I have been working for more than 40 years. The title says 40 years of painting, and I've been working for more, but I wanted to, it was a particular time in the 80s that I wanted to start it, and I wanted to bring it up to date. And what happened for me was about 2 months before I finally got to, before it was done, I began to daydream about another book. And I thought, oh, never doing one that long again. I'm never going to do one that big again. I'm never going to do. But I was shocked that I actually began to think, the next book. And part of that is because I found things that I, as you do with any project, you learn about it. What do you wish you had put in? What do you wish you hadn't left out? So I'll give myself a few more years before I tackle another book. But this was a really big deal. And a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be. I used edition one. And it should be out by the 1st of June. It's gone to the printer. And they have promised me I'm going to have open studios on June 1 and June 2. And I'll be sending out an email. They have promised me that I will have it for that day, for that weekend. So,
Congratulations.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Mary, would you like to chime in here with your activities?
Sure, I have allergies with I'm snuffling. So lots of dittos. I pushed my sister through in a wheelchair to Mexico and back, and it was great in the airports. We got through really fast. And so last night I bought my ticket to South Africa this summer, and I got invited by a former student to go work at the Botswana Technical University on sustainable recycled glass projects for 3 weeks. So I'm flying down through Cairo, and so I need to learn more screen printing, which I did in the 60s when I was teaching at Oakland High in the 70s. And I'm going to be teaching screen printing on glass, and I'm very excited. And WEED, Women Eco Artists Dialogue, is taking up huge amounts of my time, and I love it. We got a big operational grant for $25,000.
Oh my
And
goodness.
we just got another one for $4,200 to get our art and science programming together of artists who actually collaborate specifically with scientists. So if any of you know specific women artists who are collaborating with one or a group of scientists in a particular field. Let's see, and then I did my first round into publishing, which makes me admire Dan and Elizabeth and Carol even more, because we did a little catalog for one of the lead shows. I did it with the intern, and we're trying to make one of the magazines into a printed edition, and it's just filled with pit holes of InDesign. So I'm high respect for anybody who can do that. And then I just joined this group called Earth Creatives. They're up in, I don't know, they're all around the country, but they're trying to put together a big climate change art collection in a battery company in Richmond called Moxia, and it took over one of the Henry Ford buildings. So I'm helping them find artists who has work that deals with climate change. And I don't know, that's what I'm doing, just found out I'm diabetic after all this years of knowing it, kind of controlling it, but now it's getting a little harder to control.
Oh,
Life is filled with surprises. So I'll turn 76 in South Africa.
Great. Sounds like you're going to have a fabulous summer. Sounds really spectacular.
You deserve it now.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Linda, what have you been?
Hi. Let's see. I'm back at Shipyard Artists Hunters Point, sharing a studio with an old friend. And it's really a great place. And I'm sure I send you guys stuff that, you know, through MailChimp. But I had shown there, I shared the studio a while back, and then I did Gallery Route 1, and now I want to have the San Francisco presence. So I'm happy with that. And I was able to do open studio and sold a few paintings, and just getting to know the artists there is, you know, lots of fun. And anyway, so that'll continue on. And I still have work at the gallery in Gualala. The gallery is called Stuart Coomer, and it's very nice, way up on a ridge. And this past year, she sold 2 of my large redwood tree paintings. So I was very happy about that. And because I don't think they're the easiest things to sell, but she has a good sort of sea ranch population who go up to Gualala to shop and do different things. Gualala is a very small town, so I was happy about that. And summer, I'm going to go on a hiking trip with my friends up at Gold Lake, up on the Highway 49, Sierraville. So some of you might be familiar with that. And one thing I'm really need to do is understand Excel better. I think once I talked to Mary about this, but here's my pages of artwork that I have cataloged and where they are, and there's the size and the year. And I just need to be able to pull out what I need when I need to have this new information, like either all the watercolors or the textiles, things like that. So that is one goal for me. And oh, and I do want to say I love our book, because all these decades, I mean, it's hard for me to remember what I did in the 80s or what I did in the 70s. And now there it is. So I thought it can so easily be Xeroxed and sent to somebody who wants to write about you, or you can pull it up for, you know, a new exhibit. So it's really valuable, and will be more so, I'm sure. So thank you to Jan and Elizabeth and Carol and Kim. Thank you so much. And that's about it.
Very good. Well, it's always, I mean, it's very exciting when the artwork finds a new home. That's really great. So congratulations. And Sharon, would you like to?
Hi. Yeah, I want to thank you two, Jan and Kim and Elizabeth and Carol, and thank you for starting that off for me, Linda. I wanted to also congratulate everyone on all the great stuff you're doing, like your projects and your exhibits and travels to wonderful places. So just congratulations, everyone, for staying active, and exhibits and sales. I've been doing a lot of teaching, still doing a lot of teaching. It's the end of the semester for 3 different places and teaching and students. We're going on a road trip this summer. I haven't done a road trip since I was pretty young, 6 weeks on the road in the Southwest and the Northeast and the Midwest and the Northwest, a big circle around the US in 6 weeks to see friends and family that I haven't seen since before the pandemic. So it's just about seeing people and seeing art and that. Still working on this project that we got, my collaborator and I, Nancy Lemoyne, who's a long-term survivor of AIDS. We do big projects together, and there's a project about people in the AIDS community who are long-term survivors and their love and service to community. And we've been working on this project. We got the grant right before the pandemic started, and then we had to stop for 3 years. So we're getting close to wrapping it up. I think maybe by the end of this year, it'll be all done. But it's a major project. We spent a lot of time at CALA together. There's large prints that we're painting back into collaboratively together. It's been really interesting. And what else? Oh yeah, I have this talk that I'm doing for weed.
Yes.
I'm on the weed board, and Manoush talked me into doing an artist talk. So that's on May 19th, right after my semester is over for BCC and Laney, which will be great. We also have a fabulous show that opens next Tuesday at the Laney College Library. Manoush Zamadurania
Yay.
and we are eco art students. Mary was the guest curator, and Andre was there to support. And so they got to see the library transformed by our fabulous students. So anyway, that I can send that out as an invitation, but it's 11 to 2 in the Laney College Library. It's our students. And I have another show of my Artist to Citizen students and artist talks on the following Wednesday at BCC. So there are 2 different things going on next week. So it's just a lot of that teaching related stuff. So that's me. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
I need to leave for a meeting in about 5 minutes, so it's not that I don't want to hear everybody, but I have a union meeting with my graduate program where I work, and I have to be at it.
Okay, Sally, let's talk fast, Sally.
Okay. Well, because of the book, our book coming out, it reminded me that the pandemic breakfast group that meets on Friday morning, the last Friday of every month, did a sketchbook during the pandemic, and some of you are in it. I mean, we just made a book of the sketchbook that was passed around, and Marilee Snow has been very effective in getting that printed and available, and other people too. Anyway, it's a sweet little book, and it kind of reminds you what it felt like to be in the play. I'm up in Santa Rosa area. Oh, so good. Thank you. I don't have one with me up here, but it's really nice. Elizabeth had a lot to do with that, and it sells for $10 on Amazon, so it's a steal. I'm sitting here in front of this painting from 1972 when I was so excited about Skylab. It's hard to see. It's an aerial view of a kind of bay area thing, because Skylab had just taken pictures of the Earth for the first time. It's so funny, we don't remember how recently this was, but it got me all excited in those days. Anyway, as you know, some of you know, I have a studio up here, and I'm trying to paint not the fish, not the koi, but other things on a deeper level. So we'll see about that. I'm also very familiar with wheelchairs because Shane is turning 88 this summer. And there's a lot to be, I mean, that takes a lot of time to take him places and do things. And he does walk. That's not the problem at the moment, except at long airports like Heathrow. And I'm planning to go to the Venice Biennale this fall with a friend. And this will be my 3rd visit. Very stimulating. I guess now it is Andre's turn.
Yes. And Leah has joined us. Hello, Leah.
Oh, I finally made it back from my doctor's appointment.
Good. Good. So we're just hearing from Andre now about what she's been up to during this period.
Okay. I know we're running short on time, so I don't want to talk too much, because what I've been mostly doing is, and I don't know if you could see them, but I've been building these urns for Bella's ashes. And
how many do you need?
and then I don't know, can you see this egg?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so this egg has ashes in it. And they were my ex-husband. And then as he was dying, I cut his hair. And then after I put his ashes in it, I burned his hair on with a torch so that the egg carries the DNA of his hair. and then I put his name on it.
Wow.
And when Bella's son came and daughter-in-law came to my studio, I offered to make an urn for them. They asked me if I would make an urn, and I said yes, and that if they would cut some of Bella's hair, I could burn her hair on the urn. And then I showed them the egg, and I offered to make an egg for each member of the family. So they're going to bring me all of her ashes, and I will put them in these eggs, and then I will burn Bella's hair onto them. So we'll have the messages of her DNA, and then inscribe her name on it. And so that's my way of sitting Shiva. So that's the most important thing I've been doing.
Beautiful.
At 87, I can't compete with 88. It looks like somebody beat me at 88, but I thought I was the eldest of our group. Yeah, life gets slower. That's all I can say. Okay, I know we're short on time, so that's it.
What have you been up to, Leo? Why don't you jump in here with us? You're muted.
Me?
Yeah. You have to unmute.
Yeah, I will. There you
Okay.
go. Yeah, mostly medical stuff, but as far as my art stuff, I'm just I don't know, I'm working smaller and taking more time to make things, and just looking at, I mean, what I see just locally at the moment. So I do a lot of walking in the in gardens, in different gardens. So one of my most recent things is I'm into bark. So bark that creates pattern and so forth. But mostly that's what's different for me. I'm not trying to, have a big show or do any of this stuff. I just want to enjoy working, enjoy the moment, basically. So thinking about aging, yes, you want to be enjoying every moment that you have. So that's about it.
So we have just been joined on a telephone in a car. Hi, Livia. Yeah, yes, Livia.
I just want to say hello.
Yeah.
A lot of people we're so confused these days, but yeah.
Well, why don't you fill us in a little bit on what you've been up to? You're clearly like in the fast lane, I can tell.
Well, yeah, I've been busy just doing art stuff and yeah, I'm making gel plates myself. I'm trying to conquer the gel plate. It's a fun kind of printmaking. You don't need a press. You don't need to wet the paper. It's really fun. So I've been doing a little of that. And we're going down to LA on Saturday to see Theo's new baby. He has a baby girl. So that's a lot of stuff that makes you feel up in the air. And you were away a lot.
I've been away a lot. I've been away a lot during this year. In February, I was at the College Art Association annual conference. It was in Chicago this year. And I was asked to participate in a program on artist zines. And although I don't really belong in that group, the panel with these other three fabulous artists, really exciting, interesting work. I did bring my books with me and talked a lot about, from the earliest making Xeroxes and stapling them together and binding them with tape, and just that urge to have something in hand where you turn pages and see images, and make connections from one image to the next.
I remember when you curated that show at the Richmond Arts Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I was just in France for a month.
Oh,
Yeah, one of my sons lives in Normandy with his family.
oh, nice.
And
Lucky.
although I think I'm probably not alone. I think probably everyone has been to Paris and been in the museums, but I had never been to Bayeux to see the tapestry, the Bayeux tapestry. It was incredibly
Yeah.
mind-blowing. I mean, I'd seen sections reproduced, and I knew that this was very significant for Diebenkorn when he was young. So I had all these ideas about it, but I had no sense of what 70 meters long really means until you go the whole length of it, bit by bit, with all that history and see the work. It's really extraordinary.
Yeah. 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 Seems like everyone's very busy with things. So that's good, I guess.
It is. I think there are a lot of things that were brought up that are so important, and I think we're sharing them. And if we are not in the midst of them ourselves, we need to dive into them. And those things are the inventory, as Linda was saying, having your list, having your documentation, starting to organize and clear out and make decisions about what, where, and how things will find their destination at some point. Yes. And also as we go into this next phase of the aughts with writing, even though we have a 450 word hard limit, and it is a hard limit, I want to reiterate how important it is, because it's not fair of us to turn over something twice that length to Elizabeth and say, please edit this. Not okay. It has 450 words. Sorry?
Planning on doing another book?
We're doing the aughts and the teens. 2 more books. Livia.
Wow. Okay.
Livia, you're not off the hook yet. But when you do this, you can have 2 versions for yourself. You can write something and then you can expand on it. You can start writing your own pieces for your own book that you might put together for somebody who's going to come and want to write about you in the future. All of that is valuable and really good, because I think just like when we're drawing, we get into drawing. When we're painting, we get into painting. We've got the camera in our hands. We're so excited about it. It's the same thing with writing, that once you're writing, it's okay to go, if you've got 1,000 words or 2,000 words, that's fantastic. We want 450, but you can keep writing and use that material. It'll be valuable at some point in time for some other project, for someone's background information on you who wants to write about you. It's all really valuable. There's no part of this that can't be, applied, recycled, shaped into a different form and used at some point. And unfortunately, memories don't last. I mean, memory doesn't last forever. And it diminishes. And so it's really significant to have it while you can do it.
Really, it got me. Definitely, it was powerful experience just to read it all and see what all we've done. Yeah, I'm with David going to the dry garden because we're going to bring somebody a cactus out in Southern California. So I'm going to park the car and talk to you guys for a few minutes. Let me just unroll the window. Okay. All right. So
is there anything that anyone wants to talk about upcoming that you think would be really helpful for anyone in the group or exciting?
I'm going to have a show at the end of June at Transmission of my paintings. So I'm looking forward to that. And when I was in Mexico on this residency, when I first came back, I did a little of a book of photographs and paintings. So I'm understanding the book mode. It's quite satisfying. Of course, I had to do a bunch of drafts before I got it right.
So I'm going to Washington, D.C. I'm in this exhibition at the Smithsonian, Subversive, Skilled, and Sublime. And anybody paying to go there. and just I don't have to give a lecture. I just need to stand by my work and chat with people. It's pretty interesting. So and they'll do walkthroughs and that, various things. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing. But I'm a little afraid to fly given all my medical issues. It's like, but
Not
I guess I'll do it.
What are the
Yeah.
dates? I might be,
Uh, June 3rd to June, let's see, June 2nd I fly out, June 8th I fly back. And it's on June 7th that that I'm a part of the group there. And then there's another artist thing happening the day before. But actually, I'm going there because I'm being studied at NIH. So I'm going in for a 3-day study. And they're actually the ones that are flying me out there and paying for my husband's hotel room and I don't know, everything. So it's a little, 1 week little jaunt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is this general health related or brain and your research with brain and
I have something called pure autonomic failure, which is my autonomic system doesn't work. So I have crazy blood pressure and it's a Lewy body disease, but it hasn't gone anywhere yet for me. I mean, it hasn't gone in the hole, let's put it that way. But it's still there, but I've been studied for maybe 14 years, 15 years. And so I know the doctor, he's the expert in the country on this particular disease, which is rare. So anyway, they're flying me out there and they're putting me up and and I get to go to the opening of the show that I'm in, and I'm looking forward to it because it has a lot of artists that I know in the show from the past. I don't think they'll be there necessarily, but anyway, it'll be fun to go. So
That's good.
So one of the things that I point to often that I culled from reading the Joan Mitchell Handbook for Artists is having, in addition to a CV or a Lebenslauf, to have a narrative CV and to take your CV and use that as an outline for filling in also places that you traveled,
Love the sound.
events in your life, other artists that you were meeting with and other exhibitions you saw, and really giving a full view so that you are creating a context for all of that work and all that you did and everywhere you work.
Jan, I lost you. There's something that your speaker's not on. I can't hear you now.
oh,
Okay, I think everyone else can you
hear you.
others here? Yeah.
Huh.
So,
Only mine.
so the idea of having a narrative CV, Livia, where in addition you take your CV as an outline and you fill in where you were and traveling. I think that there's a problem with the car because now I'm just
the green key.
yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
If you hit the green, it would go back to the phone.
So yeah, I think that that's one way of bringing all the influences together, because we have had these really incredible lives. We've worked with so many great artists. We've seen so much terrific work and had conversations and read books that have affected us and heard music and concerts. And there's so many wonderful places we've been. I mean, I think, for instance, there's no way that somebody reading Mary's CV and seeing, oh, she was here doing this with glass, et cetera, will think, oh, she was also in Cairo. So, I mean, that's like something that you put in there, that you add, that may not be a line in a CV, that's going to have an incredible influence and really impact in some way people's understanding of the artwork that comes after. So all of that stuff can be added in, and you don't have to start from scratch. You can start with your CV as if it were your written outline, and then you can just fill in and go back to it. Just as, you know, the conversation about, Rebecca was having about going through her friend's work, and you go through over and over and over again, and you do the same thing because more and more comes back to you by association once you start thinking about these periods. Just like the 90s, it was like just like the 90s until we started like talking about it all, and suddenly it fills out, and you can go back and you can fill out month by month and the holidays and where you were and what you were doing.
Give it a context, yeah.
Anyway, we have just a few more minutes. I want to say thank you again for everyone staying with this project. It's been really terrific.
Thank you, Jan.
I think Pamela wants to say something.
Yeah.
I'll try to make this brief. I'm in my work, I'm going through a big transition and trying to do other things besides the carved wood and so on. And I'm constantly floored by what my friends and colleagues can do, so or are doing. And I miss the intimacy of being in a studio with someone, because I have a great studio, but it's, me. So if anyone is giving a workshop or wants to get together to do that, please let me know. I think that there's something that I was thinking, learn from each of you that I haven't before. So I just want to put that out there. And I can trade if there's anything I know that anyone wants to know.
Thank you.
That's a wonderful idea to start thinking about putting together workshops in rotation, and actually having the wisdom of the elders put out there in a very public way. It's a wonderful idea.
That's great. I was just talking to Renee Owen, if you guys know her. She's part of a show at Gallery Route 1, where I'm still the vice president. But anyway, she said she hasn't got a studio, but she goes to people's workshops, and she especially looks for workshops where you don't need to, where the teacher provides the space and the materials. So you just have to show up with your ideas. And I think, wouldn't that be lovely? So just to.
That's a luxury to not
Yeah.
put all your stuff together. Yeah.
I would love to have a rotating workshop and work with all you guys.
So again, I want to say thank you to everyone, and you'll be receiving an email. It will have the June 30th date for a deadline for your new text and images. It will have all the information repeated. It will have Kim's mailing address for a check. It will have all of that there. But before anything else, please send some ideas about writers. And I just want to put forward right now, one thought I had was the experience I had when I did Staying Power, the exhibition. And Gabrielle Seltz wrote really beautifully and with great consideration for that exhibition. Not only did she spend a lot of time in the exhibition, but she also contacted every one of the